Hello, I am Mr. Orange and this is video hashtag 563. In this video, I want to do a review and talk about Winx Club Season 3. Plus, I might do a bonus review on the Winx Club first movie, The Secret of the Lost Kingdom. But before we get into this video, make sure to like, share and subscribe. This channel currently has 450 subscribers. We only need 10 more to reach 500. I'm kind of nervous and excited if I reach that milestone. Who knows what will happen then? Also, to head things up, I will be reviewing Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo show in the future. I will be reviewing 16 episode 11, as well as the last series in Hack. Also, I might be reviewing a cartoon from Nickelodeon, who knows. Now we are all caught up, let's get in with this video. Anyway, let's review Winx Club Season 3. I will start off with giving my general thoughts. Overall, I have to say I really enjoyed Winx Club Season 3. I have to say it's like my close second favorite from the entire show. Obviously, Season 2 is my personal favorite. And I have to say I'm glad that the first 3 seasons of Winx Club has been solid. I haven't been disappointed. Of course, Winx Club isn't perfect. There are some bugs around the show, but still, I enjoyed it nonetheless. Such great storytelling, great plots, great songs, and everything in between. Real fun show. And a real good season as well. I will drop in some information about the dubs. So, Winx Club Season 3 has been dubbed by 3 English dubs. That being Cineloom, Focus, and Nick. It is interesting to me that Winx Club has about 6 or 7 English dubs. And none of the English dubs dubbed the entire show. My personal favorite dub is obviously the Focus dub. I am biased. I do believe that each English dub did a great job dubbing Season 3 at least. This makes me wish they all dubbed the entire show. Also, no dub is perfect. Sometimes a dub will do a great job at some aspect of the show, and sometimes they won't be as great. I just wish people would stop tearing each other apart about which is a better dub. Like I said before, no dub is perfect. For example, Cineloom isn't perfect dub either. Yet I think everyone thinks it's the best dub ever. But where Cineloom has its strength is when it comes to emotional moments, and they do a great job at following the script of the original dub. For example, I can recall so many emotional moments, Stella breaking Radius's spell, and that was really touching for me. But the issue I have with Cineloom is they can match the original show so much that it's just like a translation. It doesn't feel like a dub. I would have appreciated if Cineloom added their own flair to the script. Make the script sound believable, like a real English person would say, or like an English speaking person, because I don't think it matches. I think what an Italian person might say might be different to how we might say things. And I bet the English dub of Cineloom doesn't capture the humor or the hilarity of the original dub. That's why I feel like Focus and Nick kind of do it better in that regard, because they do add in their own flair and their own charm to the script. Also, it's important to note that Ray and Focus dubbed this around 2009-ish. And Nick dubbed this around 2011 and 2012. And you really can tell like the difference between like how Fox and Ray dubbed their story and how Nick dubs their story. Basically, you can tell like Ray and Fox they dubbed this around the 2000s, while Nick dubbed their version in the 2010s. Like what I'm getting at is like Cinelim and Focus, they can slip into like adding like sexist or fatphobic remarks. And Nick kind of does a great job at not making the script seem sexist or like not making the character sound like stereotypical. Like there are a few moments in this season, even in season 2 and 1, where like Ray and Farkas will kind of slip in like a few sexist remarks. Sometimes the guys will be like, "Oh, this is how girls are like. Oh, we don't want to be like them." Or the girls will be like, "Oh, this is how guys are like. We don't want to be like them." Like if like perpetuating like all guys are like this or all girls are like this. I really hate like that's the era we were in 2000s. I wish we left that, and yeah, I hope we're better than that. But I feel like I'm glad that like Nick, polished those parts up. Like there are moments, like for example, like where Stella like trying to break into Radius's castle. There's this scene in Red Fountain, and where the guys are like making sexist remarks about the girls, and also like how Musa's making us. Musa and Layla are kind of making sexist remark about the guys. Like neither of the Fockers and Ray are innocent in this, and I also am ashamed that like I know I'm a Focker stan, but there has been a slip in like fat phobic remark in episode 3 where like Misa calls Stella like plus size. I know I found it funny in at the time, but right now I feel like we should know better than that. Like that can't be tolerated at all. Also, I want to point out this is the last season that Focus dubs, which I do think is a shame because I really like this dub. I think it's my favorite dub out of these. I feel like Focus adds in like personality, they add in charm and comedy. The songs are really good. And if I have to be really honest, they would dub the following seasons much better. That includes the movies too. And I feel like since Focus, this is like the last season. This kind of solidified like the first 3 seasons are the golden era of Winx Club. Like no other season can top the quality of the first 3 seasons. Also, I'm really glad that like Nickelodeon dubbed this season rather than remaking like specials out of this season, like they did with season 1 and 2. Those weren't good. I'm so glad they didn't do that. This makes me wish they were like dubbed season 1 and 2 how they did with season 3. And also, I feel like sometimes Nick does a better job than Cineloom, and sometimes it does a better job than Focus at some areas. Like like I said before, like polishing off these like outdated remarks. So anyway, that's what I have my thoughts on those dubs. Now let's talk about further things about Winx Club season 3. I really liked how we progressed from season 1 to season 3. I feel like season 1 was mostly focused on Bloom, and we're mostly set in Magix. It's where Bloom discovers her true self, that she's the fairy of the Dragonfire and princess of Domino. Season 2 kind of expands in exploring the other characters as well as new and old characters. And we get to explore more things in Magix, such as Downland and the Resort Realm. And season 3 felt more expansive as we were exploring different planets across the world because, Valtor did take over those planets. While season 2 is more character driven, season 3 is more plot driven and is just epic every time. The next thing I want to talk about the villains of Winx Club season 3. Starting off our greatest villain of all time, Valtor. I don't think we ever had as threatening villain as Valtor. And he ain't lazy either. He stepped up and took over different planets, taking their spells. Like Valtor got things done. As that, he has an amazing design and has a great personality. I just love the way he carries himself. Not only that, he made it personal with the Winx. Like for example, he's a mortal enemy with Bloom. They share the Dragonfire and is responsible for the Domino destruction and taking away her parents. He made it personal with Layla and Stella by taking over their home realms, and he also almost indirectly killed Tekna. While I can praise Valtor, I have to be honest and say that I can't praise the tricks this season. What can I say? They were failures this season. It's just so sad that they've fallen so much from their glory days. Like in season 1, they were girl bosses. They took the Dragonfire. They raised the army of decay. They slayed. Even in season 2, with the Grimix power, they showed their competency. In this season, they were failed all the time, and they can't use the Enchantrix as an excuse either. They failed all the time when the Winx were using their magic Winx. Like most, we forget about that battle in Andros in episode 5. Also, did we need the tricks this season? I feel like the fact that Valtor can turn anyone into minions, we really didn't need the tricks to do his bidding. Like anyone could fulfill his villain plans. Like we already have Cassandra, Chimera, and Diaspro. They could always help him with when it comes to the minion stuff. Like basically it replace whatever the tricks are doing for someone else to do. Like that episode where Valtor sent the tricks to fight off Bloom in Pyros. What if instead of them, why can't it not be Diaspro? Like Diaspro hates Bloom, why can't Valtor send her to Pyros instead? And he was involved with putting spell on Sky, turning Sky into Dark Sky. Like, why can't he put a spell on Naboo? The Winx are already mistrusting Naboo. Why can't he use that at his advantage? So, in my opinion, I feel like the tricks should have been written out of season 3. The next thing I want to talk about is the transformation of season 3, which is Enchantrix. Such a great evolution from Magic Winx, showing that the Winx are stronger. And with Enchantrix it comes with Fairy Dust, which can be used to break dark spells and heal people, and helps the Winx miniaturize. So basically, it helps the Winx gain access to healing powers and miniaturization. The outfits are gorgeous, they're just spectacular, and it's a good reason why this is everyone's favourite. Me personally is like my second favourite after Magic Winx and Charmix. However, it is a good contender as a great transformation. And the way the Winx have earned the Enchantrix has always been great for me. I've been proud of the girls ever since they earned the Enchantrix. I also like that the Enchantrix episodes are separated from each other. Like for example, Layla earns her Enchantrix in episode 6. We then need to talk about the characters of Winx Club season 3. And of course, we'll start off by talking about Bloom. I do appreciate Bloom's discovery of finding about her true self. Like season 1, we start off by Bloom not knowing that she was a princess of Domino and the keeper of the Dragon Flame, but now she does. In season 2, Bloom learnt about her family tree with Avalon and learnt so much about her birth parents. And in this season, she exactly knows about the event that happened in Domino, said by Fargonda in episode 9. No, actually, it was in episode 7. I just love her determination in taking Valtor. Her Enchantrix episodes was really great for me, especially in the focus though with her monologue. Like, I was on her side. Also, Bloom had to deal with trauma, and also with the fact that losing Sky to Diaspro and losing her support system. I felt bad for her at that moment. But I'm so happy for my girl for coming through. The next person that I want to talk about is Stella. Oh god, what can I say about Stella? She's been through it this season. And I gotta say, I love her development in this series as well. Like, we started off Stella in season 1, where she was insensitive with everyone and didn't take things seriously, and she stepped on people's toes, and she lacked emotional maturity. Now in season 3, she's emotionally mature, yet still being her comic relief self. I really felt for her in this season, where her father was put under a spell by Cassandra and Chimera, and he didn't even recognize Stella when she turned into a beast, and Radius was put in a deep depression with that spell. Like, he couldn't even recognize his own daughter, and Stella got stripped from her princess title. I was so emotional when Stella broke Radia's spell, and her speech was just so great. She also had to learn few things as well in this season, no understanding that her beauty doesn't matter, is the beauty within. And we get to learn that beauty is important to Stella, not because of superficial things, but because it's part of who she is. It's part of herself expressing how she is. And we also have to give props to Brandon for being a great boyfriend for Stella for throughout her travesties. And I also would like to give shout out to Nova for being a cool side character. It's a shame we don't have more scenes of Nova. I think she's a great supporter of Stella. And I wish she was included in the club, she would be a great gossip girl. I have to be honest here though, I'm not too happy how the writers written Misa in this season. I will talk about the positives first. I really liked her earning her Enchantrix. It was a desperate moment, but I also liked that moment in the Crystal Labyrinth where she finally found her mother. And I was really distraught by Misa choosing the option of between her mother and the real world. And that, I bet if you are someone who lost someone, I bet this would hit so much. And I am proud of Misa for that. I just feel in this season, she got robbed so many times. I think kind of what mentioned it in her in their videos. I had to be honest, that Enchantrix episode where she earned her Enchantrix, it was barely about her, and they didn't give Misa enough spells to do with her Enchantrix. I also didn't like the Misa Raven drama, during the Solarian episode, and yeah, it just wasn't it. I feel they didn't know what to do with Misa in this season. So they just gave her the annoying drama for no reason. I also think Tekna had a really great development in this season. Not only in this season, but in the entire show. Like her journey of being like trying to be emotional is a really great storytelling, and I think as an autistic person, I find this really relatable. And her sacrificing herself to in that her Enchantrix episode, that was a really big moment for her, because that's like that wasn't even using her logic, that was using her emotions. And it was really devastating when we thought that we almost lost Tekna. And you have to give it to Timmy as well. Like, he is a great boyfriend. Like no one else, everyone else thought she was dead. Timmy was the only one who thought she was still alive. And I really liked Techna's test in the Crystal Labyrinth. Like, she had to choose between logic and emotion, and she wanted to choose emotion. Like back then in season one, I don't think Tekna would have chosen emotion, but in season three, you can really tell like this is something she wants. I feel like Flora didn't have much to do this season. Apart from her Enchantrix episode, I haven't seen much of Flora. I mean, she did kick ass with her Enchantrix. She looks so beautiful in it. And I like that we get to see Lymphia this season. It's so gorgeous, and I like Miele. She's cute as well. But apart from that, she hasn't had any like deep moments in season three. I guess she did have a big moment in season two, so this probably is like why she didn't have a big moment this season. And there were more things that were happening in season three, so I guess like didn't have room for her development. But I would appreciate it to let her have something. Maybe that Crystal Labyrinth would have helped her. Also, I love Stella, but I would have replaced her for Flora to go into the Crystal Labyrinth, because Stella already learned that about her test about her beauty, like in episode 4. So I wouldn't mind if Flora was in the Crystal Labyrinth instead of Stella. And the next character we're going to talk about is Layla. And just like Stella, she's also been dealing with trauma this season as well. Like, Walter really made Andros a wasteland. And you have to really feel bad for her because, like, this is her people. This is where she grew up. And, it must mean so much to her. Also, whatever Layla goes through in season 3, in when it comes to Andros, it's what I think of like real people, what they deal with in their countries, like when they're dealing with devastating situations. Also, I want to point out that I really like that in the last season, Layla was introduced, but in season 3, she was the first person to earn her Enchantrix. And she really comes across as well written character. Like, she has beef with the most villains. Like, first of all, she had a beef with Lord Darker because he took the pixies, and the pixies were part of Layla, and she was the first person to see Lord Darker. And in this season, the first planet Valtor strikes is Andros, which is Layla's home planet. They really said give Layla trauma. But that's not the only thing in this season as well. Layla gets a love interest in this season, and his name is Nabu, and we love him. I mean, did get rocky at the start, like Nabu, like stalking Layla. That's a yikes for me. Just don't stalk people. Anyway, Layla is a queen. Overall, I will have to say I will rate season 3 of Winx Club really high. About 4 or 5 out of 5. Probably a 4.7 out of 5. Guess what? We're not done here. It's time to review the movie. The Secret of the Lost Kingdom. I will only just share my general thoughts on what I liked and disliked. The few things I did dislike about this movie, um, I do dislike that like Flora is easily weak whenever like a monster is cutting her plants. Like it's her own plants that she created herself. Why is she weak? I did not like the time where like Whiskey scolded Murta for using dark magic to defend herself from a monster. I don't understand why using dark magic is frowned upon. Especially considered is that Meta is using it to defend herself. I also feel like Layla was sidelined in this movie. The things I did like about this movie, I like the involvement of Stella and Techna. Stella was really fun, and Techna, I thought she was useful in that spacecraft. I enjoyed the shenanigans. The action is good. I love the enchantics and the fighting scenes, even for a 3D movie. I like this movie even though it's from 2009 and they managed to do 3D well. Spoiler alert is much better than what they did in season 5. And Bloom's story I thought was good as well. I am aware of those people who've only seen their movies and never seen their show. I am curious of their perspective on this movie. I think I really did enjoy this movie. It reminds me a lot of Barbie. I can't say it's higher than like season 1, 2, or 3, but I think, as a movie based in 2009, I would rate this high. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and have a lovely day.